Today we are going to add one small piece to solving inequalities. So we know that we're using inverse operations. We know that we're solving inequalities just like we solve equations. We're just adding one small piece today. And that one small piece that we're adding is that if we multiply, that should be the word or, sorry, multiply or divide by a negative. Okay, if we multiply or divide by a negative, we are going to have to flip the inequality sign when we solve. And here's what I mean by that. So if we look at our first one, right, we're going to solve this just like normal. We're going to draw our line. We're going to find our variable, right? The operation that's happening in between 4 and x is multiplication. And we undo multiplication with division. Okay, so those 4's cancel. 12 divided by 4 gives us 3. Now what we are going to ask ourselves before we bring that inequality sign is we're going to say, did we multiply or divide by a negative? And we divided by positive 4. So that's not a negative. So our inequality sign is going to stay the same, and that is our answer. Okay, whereas if we look at number 2, again, we're solving the same. We're starting out the same. We're finding our variable, right? The operation in between is nothing. We see nothing. Nothing is multiplication. We undo multiplication with division. So I'm going to divide by -6. Right? My -6's cancel. 42 divided by -6 gives me a -7. But again, instead of just bringing my inequality straight down, I'm going to ask myself, did I multiply or divide by a negative? And here I divided by -6. So because that was a negative, I'm going to take my inequality sign and I'm going to flip the direction that it's opening. And so my answer is going to be y is less than or equal to -7. Okay, so if I look at number 3, right, again, it always starts out the same. That's not changing. The operation in between b and -3, okay, is division. And we undo division with multiplication. So I'm going to multiply both sides by -3. My -3's cancel, my b comes down, that's -15. And again, I'm going to ask myself, did I multiply or divide by a negative? And the answer is yes, right? I multiplied by -3, so I'm flipping the direction of my inequality sign. So let's look at our next one. All right, in between c and 3 is division, so I'm going to undo division with multiplication. So my c comes down. That's a -24. Now we have to be really careful because we're asking what we multiplied by, right? This problem has a -8 in it, but that's not the number we're moving, so that's not what we're multiplying by. We are multiplying by +3. And so this is not a reason to flip the inequality sign, and our sign stays the same. So number 5. We draw our line, we find our variable, right? We are looking in between. In between we see nothing. Nothing is multiplication, so we're going to undo multiplication with division. So I'm going to say 18 divided by -2 gives me a -9. All right, my -2's cancel out, so my W's on this side. All right, and I divided by a -2. So my inequality sign is changing directions. But we have to be really careful on this one, right? Because now our W is on the right, and that's not how we want to write our final answer. We want our W on the left. So when I flip my W and my -9, that is another reason to flip the inequality sign. And so my final answer is W is greater than or equal to -9. Number 6. Line. Right, this is multiplication. We're going to undo multiplication with division. And we divided by +5. So we have a negative number, but we're dividing by +5. So that is not a reason to flip the inequality sign. So we're here. But we do want to rewrite this with the variable first. And rewriting with the variable first is a rule that we already learned requires us to flip the inequality sign. And so we get a is greater than -2. Okay, yours should be right, but if they're not right, fix these signs. I had a typo. So this one we're going to make a greater than or equal to. The key here that we have to remember is that inequality signs do not flip for addition or subtraction. So if I go to solve this, right, in between is addition. So I'm looking in front of the 4. In front of the 4 is positive or addition, so I'm going to use subtraction. So while we might think about that 4 as a negative, addition and subtraction is never a time to flip the sign. So that sign stays the same. Okay, same thing on this one. Less than or equal to. All right, we're gonna undo subtracting 7 by adding 7. Addition and subtraction is never a reason to flip the inequality sign. And so we'll get x is less than or equal to 2.